Hi, welcome to the Dynamic Duel podcast, where we discuss all things DC and Marvel related, review superhero films, and debate who would win in Marvel vs. DC matchups. I'm Marvelous Joe.
And I'm his twin brother, Johnny DC.
And this is the episode where we talk about Guardians of the Galaxy
Yay!
Volume 2. I really enjoyed the film. I thought it was a whole lot of fun. I've seen it twice now.
I've only seen it once. But I saw it in 3D, and it was pretty cool.
I saw it once regular, once in 3D. I think it's possibly one of Marvel Studios' funniest and most heartfelt films. So, look forward to talking about that later on in this episode.
Right.
Before we get into the review, though, we're going to talk about the latest Marvel and DC news items that have been happening, including the Wonder Woman trailer that's supposed to air later tonight, so we may have to splice that part in. But there's supposed to be some Spider-Man news as well. I think it's just going to be a clip.
I think you just ruined the podcast magic. We don't edit this shit. What are you talking about?
So we're also going to talk about the first Defenders trailer for Netflix.
Yeah.
The new X-Men films release dates. We're going to get 3 X-Men films next year.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the new DC digital streaming service that's going to come out next year as well.
Yeah.
Should be interesting. There's a leaked Runaways teaser for Hulu.
Which I'm still surprised they haven't, taken that down.
Yeah, me too. But there's also there's also a teaser for the IMAX Inhumans TV show.
Yeah.
And we also got a first look at them, and we'll talk about that shit show. All right.
You don't know that yet. Uh-huh. Way to prematurely judging a book off its cover.
Yeah. So before we get into the news, as always, we'll go over this episode's trivia question. Congrats to CJ Castaneda, who answered the last trivia question correctly. Last episode's trivia question was, what word or phrase will get your ass sued by both Marvel and DC if you try and use it commercially? And he answered correctly with superhero.
He was one of the ones to guess it correctly. It was a really easy question this time.
Yeah, we had a few people get it right.
Yeah.
But as always, the winner is random. So this week's trivia question, or this episode's trivia question, rather, is music related. I decided to go with the music question because of all the great music in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
So there are 3 film composers who are tied for scoring the most Marvel and DC superhero movies. Name those composers. So we're looking for 3 names here. And we'll be giving a hint for that question later on in the episode. If you answer correctly on our Instagram or Twitter, and you can find us there by searching for DC or Dynamic Duel Dynamic Duel Podcast.
Right.
If you answer correctly, you may be eligible to win a no prize from us.
Right. Or you can email us as well.
Yeah, you can email.
You can email us at dcmarvelpodcast@gmail.com.
What? No, it's Dynamic Duel Podcast.
God. I knew right when I was saying it, I was like, that doesn't sound right.
This whole name change is really screwing us up.
Dynamic Duel Podcast@gmail.com.
Right.
Dang it.
Yeah, so basically a no prize is just basically a drawing that Jonathan will draw for you of your face as a superhero.
Right.
Yeah.
Congrats again to CJ Castaneda. We'll be posting that up today. Your no prize to our Twitter and Instagram feeds.
Yep. So again, look forward to the hint for this episode's trivia question later on this episode. So let's get into the news.
So the official final Wonder Woman trailer just debuted during the MTV Movie and TV Awards.
Yeah.
They added TV this year.
Mm-hmm. There was a Spider-Man clip too, but we don't usually comment on clips because I know not everybody watches the clips.
I don't usually like to watch clips.
I don't either. I'll watch trailers, but I don't like watching clips.
Yeah, and occasionally TV spots. Some of them tend to get into spoiler territory. So yeah. But I mean, it's a trailer. It's the final one, and it was awesome. I really liked it. Is what
I think it was good. I think it was the most action-packed trailer we've seen.
Definitely, it was good for the MTV audience, especially.
Yeah,
because you had that.
It was really brisk. AWOL Nation, I think.
Okay.
It was really brisk in terms of what the plot is. It just basically got just the essential details of what the plot is, and then the rest was action.
Yeah. And it starts off pretty I don't want to say low key, but there's this pretty kind of chant kind of going on as it shows scenes of Wonder Woman, kind of charging the front lines, and she's getting shot at by soldiers. And when she was a little girl, saying how she wants to be a fighter, and now her mom's like, nah, So it was a nice little scene there. And then it kind of goes into the footage that like we've seen before with her diving and stuff like that, and her talking to Chris Pine. We get to see Chris Pine wrapped up in the lasso of truth.
Yeah,
which I had heard that during that scene, because we've seen like different angles of it before in previous trailers, but he has the lasso of truth wrapped around him, so that's cool to see that in action. And there was that funny line where she was like, "To the war," and he's like, "Oh, it's that way, but we have to go here first." You can see just how irked she was.
Yeah.
And really, like, before that, there's that beautiful moment between. It really starts off with like the relationship between Hippolyta and Wonder Woman and Diana, where she's don't go, and she's like, "Well, who would I be if I didn't?"
Right.
That line. Really, it looks like a really good origin story. And when she's like stealing all the weaponry, and like she's like digging her hands into
cool.
the wall, that was really cool.
Yeah, like that's kind of when the song started. Which actually, I'm not a fan of the song itself, but I understand that they need some kind of pop song in there for the MTV audience.
Right.
But yeah, that scene, that's where she's stealing the weapons. It looks
you
like
see her still the lasso and the tiara and the sword and everything.
Yeah, I just kind of assumed maybe she just walked through a door to do that, but apparently she's going really covert Spider-Man. With this. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think of how she gets her fake name? I guess Diana Prince.
Oh, I wish he would have interrupted her sooner. Because by the time he interrupts her, she was obviously saying something else. She obviously said Princess
of Themyscira.
Obviously started saying Themyscira. Diana, Princess of Themyscira. Oh, Diana Prince. It's like, no, that doesn't quite work.
We hear Dr. Poison mentioned by name in this one.
So it's official. It's Dr. Poison.
Yeah.
Which is great. Which
the
is
lady
fantastic.
with the false face.
Yeah, in the comics, she was like a really early villain. She was trying to poison the Amazons on Paradise Island, but like it was thought to have been that she was a man, and it wasn't revealed until later, like when her mask was removed, that she was actually like I don't know if this is a spoiler, like a princess or some kind of like royalty from another country.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know if they're going to do that here. But it's cool to see that they're going with an early villain. It makes sense, and especially for World War I, it's gonna man.
I think that's why I don't like the song. Is that I feel like it doesn't gel with the vibe of the setting. But again, yeah, I've already commented. I get why they used it.
Didn't they use
Shut up. 46 and 2 for Captain America.
For Captain America.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
And that song really did not gel with the vibe of that film at all. And I think the feel of Wonder Woman is going to be very similar to Captain America: The First Avengers. I think.
I think it's like a really. I've never heard the song before. Actually, this is my first time hearing it. But it feels like it's an empowering song. I think it works really well with the trailer. Like it's enough to get like you pumped up for the film.
They used to play it all the time at the Colorado Avalanche games that I went to. So I just got kind of sick of it. That might just be my bias. I don't like the song, but other people might. I don't know.
And then there's not too much more new footage after that. We do get to see like her. I don't know if she's. This might be spoiler again. I don't know if she's shooting a giant lightning bolt or she's deflecting one. I think she might be deflecting it because it's like scooting her back.
Yeah.
But because of her new origins, I know that she can harness Zeus's lightning through her gauntlets. So. And I thought that like in trailers where like they've shown her like in the last, I think it was the last trailer where they showed her like kind of fly up and cross her arms. I think it's been in numerous trailers, and you kind of like see the electricity going around her arms.
You think she's shooting lightning?
I think she's like channeling it right there. But in the scene where like you see that huge ass lightning bolt, I don't know if
I definitely think it's not coming from Ares, because they wouldn't have Ares shoot lightning.
No.
It just doesn't make sense mythology-wise.
So do you think she's shooting out the
either
lightning?
she got struck with, either like they're fighting in the rain during a storm and she channels the lightning or something, or she's able to shoot it from her bracelets. I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, it's something, it has precedence in the comics, so.
Yeah. I just don't want them to give her too many powers that are not traditional type. You know what I mean?
Well,
because the whole lightning thing has been retconned anyway, right? With Rebirth, like.
Well, that's a good question. I haven't actually been reading too much post Rebirth, because when I heard that Greg Rucka, who took on after Finch, I can't remember who's before Rucka, but yeah, I think he's changing her origin, and I think he changed her powers. I was pretty upset by it. I didn't want to read it. I have the first issue, but that's it. But it seems like for the movie they're sticking with Zeus being her father. That's my theory anyway, just because of what they've hinted at in trailers.
Yeah. I feel like most movies have only 3 trailers. I'm kind of surprised that this one came out so close to the release date. It's less than a month, right? No. Do most have 4 trailers?
Yeah, I think most have 4 trailers.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, especially with the DC films, because I remember Batman v Superman had a quote-unquote final trailer, and I think that was the 4th one. Mm-hmm. And I think Suicide Squad did as well.
Okay.
So at least with these films, yeah, they have like 4 major trailers. We also get to see her fly in like a really beautiful shot.
She's not flying; she's just jumping high. Yes.
No, she's totally flying. She's totally like levitating. If there's like a sunset or a sunrise.
Okay.
Yeah. So it kind of answers that question as to whether or not she was going to fly in the film, because in BVS she didn't fly. So I wasn't sure if they were going to make that one of her main powers, or if she was just going to be like the Hulk and leap.
I still don't think it's going to be the Superman style of flying. I don't know.
She's levitating. She's definitely just not like, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how they depict that, how close to Superman it is. We also get to see like the shot. I don't know what it is, but it's like there's fire all around her, and there's like people. She's just beating the crap out of a bunch of guys. That's a cool shot. That's really cool.
Yeah, we haven't seen that before.
Yeah, we haven't. I'm really interested in seeing what's going on there. It's just the whole trailer. This movie, I hope it makes $1 billion.
What do I tell you after every final trailer before
it's too good
the start
looking.
of every movie? What do I always tell you?
No,
we can go back. We can go back. I tell you, check your expectations. I told you that for Suicide Squad. I told you that for BVS.
Really good. I'm so pumped up.
I know you are. I know you're excited.
Like, I bought my tickets earlier today. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I know you're excited. But remember, check your expectations. No. You get disappointed every time. No, at least if you lower your expectations, nothing can go wrong. Either you'll be surprised,
dude,
or you'll
This is the first Wonder Woman movie.
Be content.
How are my expectations not going to be high?
Hey, check your expectations.
You check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Chickadee check myself?
I guess. I don't know.
All right. Let's move on to the next topic. All right. So we got the first trailer for the Defenders Netflix series last week. And I wasn't expecting it. It kind of came out of the blue.
It came out the same day as some other big trailer. Oh, it was like I don't know what I'm talking about.
I think the Runaways teaser did leak that same day.
Okay.
No,
it was like a big movie. What was it? Damn it!
I'm just gonna ignore that you said that.
Star Wars? No, okay, maybe not. I don't know.
No. So the trailer I thought was really well done. They used that Nirvana song throughout the whole thing again. That they did for the very first title teaser.
It's a fitting song too, because just the lyrics "Come as you are," and they're all kind of like ordinary, kind of more ordinary than the Avengers at least. So yeah, I like it. It fits. I'm surprised that song hasn't been used in more, I don't know, like promo materials for
team up movies.
Yeah.
The film kind of it does a good job establishing exactly who's going to be part of the team.
The trailer.
It doesn't show much of the story or the plot or anything like that, but it's like a good kind of character teaser. I noticed that they mention who they are a lot. Like, oh, you're the blind ninja, the devil is of Hell's Kitchen. The bulletproof man, the reformed ex-con or something like that.
Whatever you are.
Yeah.
Classy.
Yeah. So they basically go through the roster, and
it had a really good opening, I thought.
I think it's a great setup. In terms of plot, we didn't get much plot, but this setup, at least we know how Matt Murdock and Jessica Jones meet.
Right. But she's a private detective, so it makes sense that she would be interfering possibly in like police cases and stuff like that. And then it would make sense that Matt Murdock would, come to her aid because he's a lawyer. So
and it was cool that Misty Knight was there. It just seems like a fantastic scene. I can't wait to see it. I'm surprised that Jerry Hogarth isn't her lawyer though, because she worked with her a lot.
Oh, that's true. What the heck?
Yeah, I wonder why Matt is her lawyer. But maybe Jerry died or something.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. That's just conjecture.
I didn't even think about that.
About Jerry Hogarth?
Yeah, because she's Jessica's lawyer. Like, she's her go-to, like, lawyer person.
Right. And Iron Fists, so.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll see. So it looks like she got in trouble for something.
A guy died. That's all we know.
Yeah, and there's a lot of blood on her face, so something violent. So we see that it looks like Luke Cage has come back from prison, from Seagate. So he maybe got off for good behavior or something like that. He was he was in there for murder though, which is typically a life sentence. So maybe they were able to prove that he was innocent, or something.
Yeah. I like the fact that he just like separated his hands. It was kind of like a Man of Steel moment where he just like walks up and disconnects his handcuffs.
Yeah.
Or like breaks them. I was like, yeah, it's like Superman.
So he goes back to Harlem and it looks like he becomes their hero. I don't know, maybe maybe they're setting up like the Heroes for Hire thing at this point. I don't know. But it was interesting how in his own series he didn't want to be a hero, and now he's going back. And according to Claire, he tells her that he wants to help them.
Yeah, I honestly I didn't think him and Claire were gonna get back together, and I don't know why I thought that, because I always Luke and Jessica are supposed to end up together. I almost wonder if like Claire's gonna die in this series, because we know she's not appearing in The Punisher.
Man, everybody's dying in this series, it seems like.
Jerry and Claire, yeah, I don't know.
No, it's interesting because, well, we all know Danny has Colleen and Matt has Elektra and Karen Page, and Luke Cage has Jessica Jones. So there's no real place for Claire anymore. So I would not be surprised if her death is what kind of like unites the team. Kind of like how when Coulson died in the Avengers, how it kind of like united the Avengers a little bit more.
I can totally see
that. It might be the same thing. Like her death might serve as a catalyst.
She's exactly Coulson because she's appeared in every series.
Yeah.
Just like if you could hear like some like rain stuff outside and kids screaming, it like just started raining, and I think a lot of people were caught off guard.
Or thunder,
or thunder, yeah. It's like a podcast first. I don't think we've ever had to deal with thunder before.
Of course, it's all conjecture on whether or not she will die, but it would be interesting if that's what happens, if they end up mimicking that whole catalyst in the Avengers.
Well, if Disney is about anything, it's about formula.
Shut up.
And, like, repeating things. So I wouldn't be surprised.
She certainly brings Iron Fist and Luke Cage directly together. We see that because she's like, I think you should meet somebody.
You guys are on the same team or something like that.
It is cool when they meet, though. I love how, like, Danny tries to attack Luke, and he just can't. And then you have, like, the callback to that shot in the Luke Cage series where the guy punches Luke Cage in the face, but, like, ends up breaking his wrist, his whole hand. So like, it's, like, the exact same shot, except it's
same
with
framing.
The Iron Fist.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty good. And you just see Luke's face.
I felt bad for Luke Cage. Like, that's a big wake-up call. Like, when has that happened? Besides, well, I guess Diamondback, but from some, like, snot-nosed, sneaker-wearing kid.
He does, that's the bad thing about Danny, is that his character does seem a little snot-nosed. He still seems a little wet behind the ears, when he's like, I'm the immortal Iron Fist. Like, it's like, dude, you just need to, like, cool it out with the whole, like, self-entitlement kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was kind of funny, though, how Luke Cage, like, he's like, you're the what?
Well, who the? What is that? No, he didn't say it like that at all.
Well, Claire had a similar line in the Iron Fist series. She was like, well, what does that mean?
Yeah.
But Luke's delivery on that made me laugh out loud, so that was pretty funny. So basically it sets up how Luke and Iron Fist meet. The trailer sets up how Matt and Jessica meet. We don't really know how the four of them meet still, though. But we do know that Stick is involved. It seems like the primary antagonist, Sigourney Weaver, still don't know who she is. Her name is Alexandra. We still don't know more than that. But it looks like she's affiliated with the Hand because it looks like there's a bunch of like she's at the head of the boardroom, so it's like of this boardroom table, so she might be like part of a business part of the hand.
Yeah, I didn't get that indication that she was affiliated with the hand.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Well, because Elektra's involved.
Oh yeah, Elektra is involved. We did get to see her.
That was pretty cool. I like her new red costume.
Yeah.
It shows a little bit less skin than what we're accustomed to from the comics, but I think Elodie Young is a fantastic Elektra Nachos. So
yeah.
I want to see her like kind of be a little bit more like how Harold Meacham was in Iron Fist. How like when these people get resurrected by the hand, they're like a little bit more unstable.
And crazy.
And she was already kind of unstable to begin with, from Daredevil season 2. So it'll be interesting to see her new relationship with Matt.
I just want to see Daredevil's version of the hand again, and not like this like prep school, whatever the hell that was in Iron Fist. I don't know.
Yeah.
We do get another hallway fight scene.
Yes, that's fantastic.
Yeah. I like how Jessica Jones is like, you look ridiculous. Or what did she say? You look like an idiot.
You look like an idiot. He's like, it's your scarf.
Does he always have to wear the mask just like to protect his identity so people don't...
He'll get disbarred if they find out that he's a vigilante.
Okay.
So he's trying to keep his career.
I wasn't sure, like, when I first saw it, I was like, he really likes letting people know that he's blind. I don't know.
Yeah, that's Thunder.
That is Thunder.
The others don't quite have, like, as many, like, concerns about their identity, although Iron Fist really should. Like, Danny, he should be covering up his face, too, because, he's kind of famous.
Yeah.
So.
Well, who knows, maybe... Because Matt Murdock's, like, when he keeps, like, tying these rags against his head, it's almost like an Iron Fist kind of, like... headgear kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of looks
like
maybe
he inspires Danny.
Hopefully. God, I hope we get costumes. Like Luke Cage, he's wearing his yellow t-shirt. We see Elektra in her costume. We know Matt's going to wear his costume. So it's... And
when is Iron Fist
Jessica Jones doesn't really have a costume. So,
yeah,
we really need to see Iron Fist in his getup.
You know what? Matt doesn't even need to inspire it because we saw it in the video footage of the previous Iron Fist. He was wearing that mask.
Uh-huh. That's true. Yeah. That's true.
He needs to wear it. It's a cool costume.
Yeah. So,
especially when it doesn't have the collar, I think, personally.
Yeah, I don't like the collar, this big popped-up collar kind of thing.
Yeah.
The scene where it's like the 1, 2, 3 punch, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was
like
really
it was kind of disappointing that Matt didn't have a punch in there, but he's like kicking some dude's ass in the background anyway.
Yeah.
So, but it was like she's like hiya, and then Luke Cage is like wah, and like those two, like those guys go like flying backwards. I like it looks like they got pulled with a cable or something like that. Uh-huh. And then Danny does that cool bounce off the wall,
pinball,
bitch slap
attack.
Kind of thing.
Was his hand glowing?
No, it wasn't glowing. No,
but
he doesn't need to use the Iron Fist all the time, so
I would.
It's fine.
I would use it all the time.
When they're at the Chinese restaurant at the end of the trailer, it seems like Danny is the one who really like sees them as a team, wants to be a team. My guess is that while they team up together for this particular adventure or whatever, I think he's going to be the one that still wants to be a part of the team. Jessica Jones and Matt are probably not going to want to be, but he probably convinces Luke Cage to team up with him on Heroes for Hire.
Yeah, maybe. They're shooting Jessica Jones season 2 right now. I wasn't sure if Luke Cage was going to be a part of that. They
need to get together sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Because I like their relationship in the comics.
I wonder if there's even going to be like a Luke Cage and Iron Fist 2, or it'll just be Heroes for Hire. I wouldn't mind that. And if you tie in... I think Jessica Jones could, I guess, keep her own series.
I would keep Jessica Jones as her own series. I would keep Daredevil as his own series. But I would combine the 2 weaker Netflix shows, Iron Fist and Luke Cage, put that into its own series, and then leave room for an additional slot. Well, like Punisher, I guess. But or Moon Knight or whatever. Yeah. I still think like phase 2 of like the Marvel Netflix shows should be that supernatural element that did I already talk about this?
Yeah, I think
they should do a Netflix show for Ghost Rider, one for Moon Knight, who has werewolves as bad guys.
Yeah.
He was first. He first debuted in Werewolf by Night. So there's a supernatural element there, and Blade. So I think those 3 they each have their own Netflix shows, and then they join together and
do Marvel Knights.
Or actually, what they were called in a recent series, the Howling Commandos, which is a play off of Nick Fury's team during World War II. But it's like the Howling, like howl at the moon kind of thing.
Well, so it's Blade, Ghost Rider, and Moon Knight are part of that team?
And Man-Thing if I remember correctly. But I think that was on the Spider-Man TV show. Obviously, they've also been known in the comics as the Midnight Suns or the Night Stalkers. So they have
Marvel Knights.
Marvel,
no. Maybe you can't do Marvel. That's a little bit too fourth wall breaking.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess they can't really do the Howling Commandos either because they've made many references to them in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So if they have to go with anything, I would call the team the Midnight Suns probably, or the Night Stalkers. I don't know. Anyway, that has nothing to do with the Defenders. I'm looking forward to this show. Comes out in September. We have a awesome few months coming up ahead of us because this month is all about Guardians. Next month is all about Wonder Woman. Next month after that is Spider-Man. July is all about Spider-Man. August, that's when Defenders comes out. September, that's when Inhumans comes out.
Wait, Defenders comes out in August?
Yes.
Okay.
And then nothing comes out in October. But in November, we're going to get a twofer with
Well, we don't know
Thor
when Punisher is coming out.
And Justice League. Yeah, I would guess that Punisher would come out sometime in December. I would guess December or October. But they haven't announced that date yet.
Right.
So, but you know what dates they have announced?
Oh, three X-Men films next year.
That's insane.
That's insane. And next year, too. Like, you think that would be like, in 2019, we're going to get 3 X-Men films. But no, it's next year. Yeah. They haven't even, started filming some of these.
Yeah. So the 3 X-Men films that we are going to get next year is New Mutants, which is going to come out April 13th, 2018. Deadpool 2, which gets a summer release date, June 1st, 2018. And the third film, X-Men Dark Phoenix, is going to come out November 2nd, 2018. Yeah. So Deadpool and Dark Phoenix, those are pretty good release dates for big blockbuster movies.
Yeah.
New Mutants, middle of April is just kind of weird. Well, it's also like that one kind of
keeps starting earlier and earlier.
That's true. But like that movie does not have, as far as I know, a director yet or an official cast. Like there have been rumors and talkings and things like that, but no director announcement or anything. So I wonder if that film will actually make that release date, or if this is going to be like a Gambit where it has a release date and then it just never makes it. Obviously, Deadpool 2 is going to make its release date because it's still on track.
Right.
They have a director, they have a cast, and everything. So
I have a feeling New Mutants has a cast. They just haven't released it yet.
Well, they better do that soon.
Yeah.
I think the biggest news to come out of these dates is the announcement of the title of the next X-Men movie, which is Dark Phoenix.
Which is disappointing.
Yeah, it was called Supernova, and then they changed it to Dark Phoenix.
I thought Supernova was just the working title.
Yeah, it was just a working title.
Or the shooting title.
What do you think about that? What do you think about... obviously, like at the end of... When we did the review for X-Men Apocalypse, I said they have to go into the Dark Phoenix in the next movie because by establishing such a super powerful character...
In Apocalypse?
In X-Men Apocalypse, when she became Phoenix, basically you have ruined all potential for conflict in your next movie unless she is the conflict. Because
she could overcome anything.
She can overcome anything. Apocalypse was the most powerful threat that they've ever come across, and she was able to just wipe the floor with them. So yeah, that I figured that they would have to go the Dark Phoenix route in this movie. Although I don't think it's too soon necessarily. At least they set up some of the character in the last movie, but I do think.
I think it's soon.
You think it's too soon?
Kinda.
My concern is that we've already kind of seen this story.
Yeah.
Unless they go wildly different with it. Like, and I think I mentioned in one of our last episodes too, is that I want them to go into space with the Dark Phoenix and make it like the Guardians of the Galaxy movie for the X-Men universe.
Why not introduce the Shi'ar and stuff
Shi'ar,
like that?
Yeah, and make it very, very 90s X-Men cartoon. The Shi'ar had played a big part in the Dark Phoenix saga on that cartoon,
right,
and in the comics too. But
right.
Because the Phoenix Force is not like part of her mutant ability; it's a cosmic.
It's a cosmic entity. Yeah.
Yes. So the Shi'ar would have an interest in they have an interest in destroying it and everything like that. So you can just take it in space,
please.
Put it in space. 90s X-Men in space. That's how you make it different. That's how you differentiate it from the shitfest that was X-Men 3.
Or even what else you're doing with like New Mutants. I mean, we're gonna have mutants and another, like teenage. Well, they may not be teenagers. Maybe they'll do it like 10 years down the road, so it's like in the middle of the 90s.
Yes.
Which, again, perfect reason to go into space.
Yes.
And like the Jim Lee era of X-Men comics,
right.
when it was, just... It was the time of the Dark Phoenix saga, too, so... Do space. I totally agree with you. Right when you said that, I was like, oh, that's a perfect idea.
Yeah, you can make it like crazy. Like I said, you can make it the Guardians of the Galaxy of the X-Men franchise, this film. Like, subsequent films don't have to be in space. But space has played a somewhat, not a large role, but a minor role in the X-Men canon with like the Phalanx and the Shi'ar and a whole bunch of other stuff. I'm not gonna talk about that right now. But yeah,
the Brood, that's X-Men.
The
right?
Brood, yeah,
Okay.
that's
yeah.
they've been in the X-Men comics. So anyway, do that. You know what that just reminded me of, actually? I was trying to think of other space villains, and do you remember on the Logan promotional material, the very first promotional image we got for the Logan movie? It was a black and white, and it looked like arcade.
Yes.
Whatever happened to that? That was never in the movie.
I think that was one of the guys in the limousine who were like, build that wall, or what were they saying?
USA.
USA. Build that wall. Might as well have been saying that. But yeah, I think it was one of those kids.
Okay. I can
Yeah,
see
dude.
That.
That's right.
Yeah, sorry, I just completely forgot about that until right now.
The Deadpool 2 release date is like a hot summer release date, which is kind of surprising for a rated R film.
I think it'll do well in that time frame, though. I think it's a great pickup for that franchise. Deadpool, he's become so damn popular. Like highest R-rated grossing film.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
he deserves
pretty confident release date.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. So I guess that's it for the news with the X-Men dates.
Yeah.
All right. So tell me about the DC digital streaming service.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know if that's going to be the actual name of it. Maybe just DC Digital or something. But it's a digital streaming service a la Hulu or Netflix. Stuff like that. But it's solely going to be DC content, which is awesome.
I think this is brilliant.
This is what I always thought Marvel was going to go this route first, but the fact that like DC is doing it, we have so much content too. We have we have definitely have enough, I think, to have our own streaming service. And I say we like I'm a part of DC, but you have like the old cartoons, even going all the way back to like the Fleischer Superman cartoons.
Uh-huh.
You have all the movies and they said that debuting on the streaming service is going to be Young Justice Season 3, which is awesome.
Yes.
That show got canceled in 2013. And
unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a great show. It's probably my favorite DC cartoon, like next to the original Batman Bruce Timm series.
Yeah.
It's just really smart and really good.
I think that the DC is smart in realizing that is probably what the future of media is.
Yeah.
Like Netflix and Hulu they're pioneering new ground in terms of media delivery,
right,
and content delivery. I want to see Marvel do the same thing. I think it would be fantastic if they had their own version of Netflix where they just produce or where they show not just old Marvel content like the old Marvel films,
right,
like from the 2000s and everything like that, but even like new cartoons and even just I don't know, like their YouTube channel where they have guys that go over this week's comics that are coming out and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Marvel's library of content is as big as DC's.
What?
Right now?
What are you talking about?
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 We have so much more content than you.
What?
You have a lot of cartoons.
No, we have like old TV shows with like George Reeves and stuff like that, and then like Adventures of Lois and Clark, and then like the 60s TV show
Batman Beyond.
And Batman Beyond. We have so much. What are you talking about?
You
need a huge library to start one of these things, and I think DC has. I think DC is like one of the few like properties that actually has enough content to like have its own streaming service.
Marvel definitely has enough to start one.
Yeah, I think they do. Not as much as DC, but I think they're getting there. They're getting there.
You keep telling yourself that. It has the potential to change everything. Like they can actually start releasing like live action serials on there. kind of like how they like with the CW shows, but like
well, they're going to do that
more like how Netflix does it, where like you can binge a whole season kind of thing.
Yeah, and they're doing that too. They're doing a live action Titan series. They've announced on this digital series, this digital streaming service. I mean.
Oh really?
Yeah. So so far they've confirmed the characters. I think it was Dick Grayson. They haven't said whether he's Robin or Nightwing, but it's Dick Grayson.
But they're coming out with a Nightwing movie.
Yeah.
The fuck are they doing?
Oh, it's the same thing with Flash. Flash has his own TV show and he's making his own movie. I know.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I like it. I mean, it's Young Justice.
See, with the Flash, they're like as it's been shown, there are different ways that you can portray his powers on screen.
Yeah.
We learned that from the 90s TV show to the current TV show to the movie that's going to come out, Justice League.
The trailer.
How do you portray Nightwing differently across different mediums?
I'm sure they'll find a way. I'm not worried about it at all.
Okay, I'm worried for you. It's okay.
But the show's also it's going to have Starfire, Dick Grayson. Gosh dang it, the list escapes me. It's like the Titans you want to see.
Beast Boy.
A Beast. I think Jeff Johns hinted at Beast Boy.
Okay.
But yeah, it's gonna be. I think it has Donna Troy, I believe, as well.
Oh really?
Yeah. So. I dig it. Now I'm totally not confident right when I said that as to whether or not that's true. I think it's Donna Troy.
The main Titans.
It's the main Titans. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So and in live action, it's done by Greg Berlanti. He's the same guy who writes, he's a showrunner for Flash and Supergirl and Arrow. And
so is it going to be part of the Titans or the Arrowverse, the Arrow universe?
We don't know that yet.
Okay.
It may like start off like Supergirl did, just as its own thing, and then like introduce. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that actually. It's just like another part of the multiverse.
Yeah.
Another world.
Yeah, this story kind of is snuck under the radar a little bit.
Raven. I think they said Raven is on the team.
Okay.
Anyway.
It kind of snuck under the radar a little bit. Didn't gain too much traction, but honestly, I think when this debuts next year, it's going to be huge.
It's like I think it's like the biggest news in a long time. Not necessarily like about movies or anything, but just about content delivery.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like they're finding different ways to deliver this long form content to audiences. Like this is one way to do it, and what Marvel's doing with IMAX and ABC with Inhumans, that's another way to do it. Another approach. It'll be interesting. Like the future of media is just it's exciting to me. Like we're gonna have all these different ways to consume things.
Yeah. I really think it's gonna be viewers are they're really being catered to. Like how would you prefer to see this? Do you want to see this at home? Do you want to see this in the movie theater? Like what do you want to do?
Yeah.
So it's exciting.
Yeah. Well, and along those lines too. Speaking of like media delivery services, Hulu. They are going to. They have greenlit the series, the Runaways series that's going to come out. We don't know. I was wondering who's going to pick that up. Yeah, it's going to be later. Well, it was always supposed to come out for Hulu, but I think it was just they were testing to see if it was actually any good. Before they actually picked up the whole thing. So,
did you think the teaser that leaked was good?
The teaser was so low res, it's really hard to see what's going on. But we do get to see like glimpses of each of the young kids. We see Alex Wilde, and he like the bookcase opens up in the study or whatever, and they see the secret passageway.
There's some Narnia shit.
Yeah, he's like, this is some Narnia shit. So it makes me think just that line alone. I want to speculate that this is actually not. I thought it was going to be like young adult oriented, like Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah. Usually when like a show or like any media, really a book stars like a young kid, like that's the target audience. Right. Like whatever the main protagonist age is, that's sort of like the target audience.
Right. And the comic book itself read very teenager-ish, honestly. That's one of the reasons why after the first arc I didn't really continue with it. Because it seemed kind of young adult. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like Brian K. Vaughan's like other work like Y or something that I read that was very adult. This was a little bit more like their dialogue, the way they spoke to each other was a little.
It wasn't intended for mature audiences.
Yeah, it was a little sophomoric, I guess.
I'm surprised they're letting them use the word shit in this one.
Well, again, I think they're actually marketing this series to not young adults. I think it's being marketed to like maybe older adults.
Yeah.
Like,
do you think that's Do you think they're going to watch it?
18 to 34 kind of demographic. Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's a good story. I think it is. Like the whole concept, the whole theme is about like distrust against your parents, kind of thing, like that. So you might be right. Maybe they wouldn't be interested in watching it. Honestly, I don't know because I'm just basing all of what I'm saying based off that one line. Like, this is some Narnia shit.
Right.
Which makes me think it's skewing older, but, it might not. It just might be trying to be hip, for the young kids.
I guess.
With the curse words.
The kids and the curse words these days. They like them curse words.
Well, we see a glimpse of Alex's parents, and she's like, "Who, kids aren't cared about what their parents are doing, whatever." Yeah. They're like the Lex Luthors of the villain group.
Okay.
And we see them see their parents about to sacrifice
weird,
that girl.
Satanic cult thing. Was that from the comic?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, that's all from the comic. This actually looks exactly like the first issue of Runaways.
Nice.
Towards the end, though, it starts breaking up into more of a montage type thing where we get hints of what each of their powers are. Like, we get just like a quick glimpse of maybe that might be Old Lace, who is I said raptor last time, but we got corrected on that. Dionysus? No, that's a Greek god. What the fuck was his name? He's a raptor-ish dinosaur. I'll say that.
There we go.
He's technically a raptor. So, like, I guess we get a glimpse of his hand, although it's really hard to see. We see Lucy in the sky with diamonds. Like, she starts, like, lighting up, basically, in, like, the rainbow colors. She's an alien, and she shoots, like, energy blasts and things like that. So, Sister Grimm, I don't actually see the staff of one here, but she is, like, shooting fire at one point, I assume, from the staff. Don't really see any of Talkback's powers. At least not that I saw, and I kind of went through it frame by frame. But again, it's pretty low res.
Right.
It's someone filming the screen at this Hulu event.
Not only am I surprised that they still left this up, they didn't take it down right away. But I'm also surprised, like, since they left it up, they didn't release a higher res version of it, because obviously they don't care if people see it. Why not let people like really see it?
Right. Right. Exactly.
It's like like
my suspicion is that this teaser is not supposed to be released to the general public.
It's another.
It's just supposed to be for the Hulu event. Like when they do, I don't think it was an intentional leak, but I think that when they do promote the first teaser for the show, it's not going to exactly look like what we're seeing here. I think this was made for the Hulu audience, which is why they haven't released it in high res. Okay. Because it's not for general audience. Okay. That's my suspicion.
Yeah, I'm sure when they do release it for general audience, they may cut the word shit.
Maybe.
Some Narnia, they cut away stuff.
Some Narnia boo-hickey. I don't know if that's a word. That reminds me, I don't know why that reminded me of it. Do you remember in Guardians when he was like, what kind of batteries are those? And he's like, they're Anulax batteries. I think that was the word. And he's like, Herbalary batteries. It's like, that does not even sound like what I said. Anyway, okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it for the Runaways trailer. Look forward to seeing that later on this year, maybe next year. Yeah. So there is, and on that note of television shows that are coming out later this year, we got our very first look at the Inhumans. Yeah. And
a teaser?
There was a brief teaser. Actually,
yeah, I saw it in theaters because I went to the IMAX 3D screening of Guardians, and that played ahead of it. And I mean, it reminded me a lot of the like the Dark Knight teaser, where it was just like people talking, and then you see the the logo or whatever.
Yeah, it's the title card with voiceover.
Yeah, people got excited in the theater; they cheered for it. So it's just Ramsey Bolton. What is his character's name? Maximus.
Yeah, Maximus.
Maximus. He's
basically just saying, why should we follow our king? Should we be as silent as he is?
And then
I think it's Crystal.
I think it's Crystal, because it sounds like a young girl's voice. She was like, you're talking about, betraying your brother and
your king
and treason.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm talking about freedom for all Inhumans. Yeah. Which, I mean, it's the most vague dialogue ever.
Yeah.
But
it looks like Crystal and Maximus are going to be like friends or something like that.
Yeah, they don't collaborate too much from the stories that I've read in comics.
Like, they don't have a relationship, but apparently here they will.
Yeah, we got a first look at what they look like.
Yeah, was that Entertainment Weekly?
It was Entertainment Weekly. They released an image, and it has 6 of the family members. It doesn't show Triton, but we do see Gorgon, Karnak, Black Bolt, Medusa, Crystal, and Maximus. And I think they should fire the costume designer. Honestly, it looks very low rent, kind of cosplay, low budget.
It is very cosplay.
Yeah.
I wish they would have at least tried to add some digital effects in the photo, or at least get a freaking fan in there and get her hair blowing a little bit,
Medusa.
Medusa. It looks really fake, and it looks it makes her look like her face makes her face look wider and older than she needs to.
Yes.
Because it's obviously a wig.
Yes.
It's
a horrible wig.
It's really bad.
Yeah. I mean, the costumes are designed well enough for you to know who they are. Obviously that's Black Bolt's costume. Obviously that's Medusa's costume. Obviously that's Crystal's costume. But they're done so seemingly cheap that it takes away all appeal, I think. There's a lot of faux leather going around. It looks very vinyl-ish. It looks like, something that cosplayers could do at home.
Yeah, yeah.
Medusa's hair is the weirdest damn color. It's that weird fake orange wig hair color where it's like basketball color orange. It's hair doesn't really look like that. It's either a little bit more blonde or a little bit more auburn.
She is an Inhuman. The color didn't really bother me as much as just how straight it was.
Yeah, it needs to be wavy.
It does.
It needs to be
it's a weird butt part.
Yeah, her hair's parted down the middle. It looks like a butt.
She just needed to look like better, and by better I mean younger and
more attractive.
More attractive. I don't know.
It looks like there's an orange ass sitting on her head, and it just shits all over everything.
The photo is just really bad. It's like they didn't even retouch the bags under their eyes or anything like that.
Yeah, the facial expressions are pretty.
Not
weak.
Good.
Yeah, they're just.
That's the only way I could describe this photo was just.
They all look bored.
Not good. And then even Black Bolt. I mean,
the only one that
I understand why he's not wearing a mask because I never really understood why he wore a mask in the comics to begin with, but I was really hoping they would turn the tuning fork thing into some kind of crown.
Yeah.
The tuning fork thing.
Yeah, they've had that in the comics. Yeah, it's like a crown tuning fork thing.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm not so. I mean, I think it would look more like Black Bolt if he had the mask. But when you in this form of media, audiences question why some people would want to hide their identity.
Right.
Which is probably why Iron Fist doesn't have a mask, even though he has every reason in the world to hide his identity. Anyway, but yeah, a crown with the tuning fork thing, that would have been awesome. That would have been a great compromise.
It would have been really cool looking too. I think
the Black Bolt, the tuning fork thing is just part of his iconography, and without it, he feels not quite Black Bolt.
And even just going back to his expression, I feel like he's trying to look intense, but he just looks constipated instead.
He looks kind of confused.
Yeah, it's
did I just shit my pantaloons or did I not?
It's you're trying to look I understand you can't talk, so you have to express yourself, through your face. But I think you might have been trying too hard in this photo. Maybe just a little bit.
They all look like they just shat their pantaloons. All of them. Even Medusa. She's not wearing pantaloons. I don't know, man.
I've just seen some really cool Medusa art, and this is the least coolest Medusa thing I've ever seen. I think she's the one that I find most disappointing.
Yes.
Because I expected a lot more.
Well, yeah, honestly, yeah. Medusa and Black Bolt are disappointing. The rest are passable, honestly.
Yeah. You don't get to see Gorgon's hooves.
I think the best looking one, honestly, is Karnak.
He looks cool.
I have very little issue with his presentation here.
No, yeah. I thought Crystal looks good too.
Yeah, she looks fine. Just again a little cheap, There's
a little bit too much gloss
on their costumes.
They dyed a strip of her hair.
Oh, instead of a band.
Instead of a band, I always thought it was a band.
I always thought it was a band too.
I think this works though.
It's interesting. It's an interesting take. I mean, it's a good way to rationalize. They know audiences will ask, why is she wearing a band around her hair? And for the comics, it's just part of the character design. But when you go to live action, it needs a little bit more rationale than just character design. So. Yeah. Just disappointing. I hope it looks better in live action. That's what I'm kind of crossing my fingers for. I hope eventually at some point Black Bolt either gets the crown with the tuning fork or the mask with the tuning fork. gets a tuning fork in general.
Yeah.
I'm still excited to see what Lockjaw looks like. I'm still really interested in seeing what Triton looks like.
Yeah. He's like the main guy missing from this.
Yeah, that'll be a heavy makeup job, I think.
Yeah, for sure. It worries me because like the suits look this cheap. Are the effects gonna look cheap? Is the makeup like for Triton gonna look cheap?
Oh God.
I
hope not.
In my head,
this
was
budget.
gonna look a lot cooler.
Yeah, in my head it looked 50 times cooler than what it is. These are by far the worst costumes that we've seen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Daredevil's costume blows this out of the water. So we'll see what happens. Again, maybe like the first trailer might come out and just be like totally prove us wrong.
Yeah.
It might, like the way they're shot here, the cinematography on the film itself may present the costumes in a much different light.
Yeah. Well, you remember the first Suicide Squad image that they released that everyone hated? It was like really dark.
Yeah.
And then I was like, what the heck am I looking at? This may be that.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if that says anything about, because I know you don't like Suicide Squad.
I liked the costumes in Suicide Squad. I thought that was fine.
Yeah.
Except for the Joker. But
yeah.
Well, except I guess just the tattoo on the Joker, the damage tattoo. Anyway, that's it for that.
That one.
Actually, I think that's all the news. Yeah. So, all right, we'll be right back, and we will review Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Okay, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 review. Like I said at the beginning of this episode, I think it's Marvel Studios' most humorous and heartfelt film. I say Marvel Studios because Deadpool is a Marvel movie and it was funnier. But I think I'm trying to think of a more heartfelt film than this, and I can't think of one. Ant-Man was close, but I think it was just a fun, heartfelt movie. I really liked it. I saw it twice.
To me, it wasn't that heartfelt.
Okay,
honestly.
So by heartfelt, I don't mean emotional. I know a lot of people thought that this film was emotional, and I've heard accounts of a lot of people getting choked up and teary-eyed at the end of the film.
Yeah,
that did not happen to me. At least not like how it did with Logan.
No, yeah, exactly. That's a great comparison. I thought Logan. I got choked up at the end of that for sure. Not this at all.
I think a lot of people were saddened by. And this is a spoiler review, by the way.
All of our reviews are spoiler reviews.
I think a lot of people got choked up by Yondu's death.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was that line at the end of the film where he said, Ego may have been your father, but he wasn't your daddy. I thought that was such a horrible line. Because you weren't his daddy either. You tortured him. Why all of a always
sudden
threatened to eat him and stuff.
Yeah, why all of a sudden do you care about? Well, he always kind of showed favoritism towards Peter, I guess.
I do think that deep down Yondu cared very deeply for Peter, and I think he just had a weird way of showing it. I think
maybe he felt. I think it was more out of guilt that he realized that what he was sending all the Ego's children back to him. I don't know if it was he just I don't know, but it's he wasn't a good father. So what makes him think he has any right to say, I'm your daddy?
Yeah. Well, it seems that, when Peter would talk about Yondu, at the beginning of the movie, it was more out of, it would have more a resentful tone kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I don't know.
Then all of a sudden it wasn't there because of his relationship with his real dad. I don't think that would make you respect your abductor anymore, This is the guy who kidnapped you.
Yeah.
This isn't your daddy.
Yeah.
I thought that bothered me a little bit.
I think it's one of the things in which I defer the most from, most of the other reviews that have come out.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people, that actually connected with a lot of people, and I don't know if we're wrong or they're wrong. It's just our opinion. But,
yeah.
Like I said, I did have a whole lot of fun with this movie. I do really like this film. It's nice to have a film that's, not really obligated or tied to the other Marvel films.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah. It stands on its own.
The team already got the team origin story out of the way, and it just can have a blast exploring these characters.
Yeah.
And they're wonderful characters. So in that regard, really appreciate the film. Basically,
yeah, it was a fun film, and like even if you look at the timeline, like this movie or like these events still took place in 2014.
Right.
Like when they jumped, like so this as far as like the Marvel timeline goes, like this took place before, like Civil War. This took place before all all the films that have come
Doctor
out
Strange,
since
yeah.
2014.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely like it felt like its own standalone thing. Like when I was walking out, like I really liked the movie. It was a really fun and funny movie.
Funny. Like I don't know. Like in all, I don't think this was as good as the first movie, in my opinion, but like close enough. Like I still really liked it.
It was a
like,
great sequel,
especially the humor. Like I know humor is like subjective and everything, but like
I was laughing.
I'm like one of those people who like will laugh at anything, even dumb jokes. Like I love dumb humor. I love intelligent humor. I love all the humor. So I know some people didn't like the humor, but
Really?
You just need to get a sense of humor then. So I think that the humor and like the character interaction, the relationships between characters in this film, I think it compensated for what I perceived to be a weaker story than the first film. What the first film was not an origin story. It was an origin story for the team, but not for the characters. Mm-hmm. Like we meet all these characters in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, pretty much established as who they are. Mm-hmm. We don't really go into their backstory.
No, yeah.
And it was in that regard, this film almost felt like an origin story. Yeah, because we went into
all the characters' histories.
Yeah, we went into like they got deconstructed in this movie. We got the who's, the whys, the hows, all that.
Which is an interesting. I think it was done successfally too.
Yeah,
like it was done really well. Like I never felt like it was too exposition heavy or anything like that.
Right.
I remember like because I actually saw the movie in the same not the same theater, not the same screening, but like at the same theater. And I remember like hearing someone say like, oh yeah, second films are usually better because you don't have to tell the origin of the character or anything like that. And I remember you saying, exactly what you just said now about how this film like was more like went to the origin of the characters than the previous film, and I thought that was really smart. I didn't catch that when I was watching it, but you're absolutely right.
Yeah. I know.
And again, it was really well done. I was surprised.
Yeah, I think the big theme of the film was, I think it was fatherhood, maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe not just fatherhood, but like family and friendship in general. Like, I mean, like it was like more sisterhood.
Well, like even the first one was about family. I think
like finding your family.
Yeah.
And then this one is like, staying a family despite your own personal histories, kind of.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. It was like this film. Like we learn who the characters are. It's a character piece. This film,
for sure,
like
for sure,
more than a movie with a compelling plot.
Yeah, it didn't like push like the whole Infinity Stone storyline like any further. Honestly, like when I walked out of out of the movie and I was like, did this? I was just trying to figure out like how this progressed the whole like MCU kind of narrative forward. I don't really think it did, other than the fact that it might be possible that Marvel got the rights to Fantastic Four back.
I was hoping that's where you're going to go with that.
Yeah.
In terms of pushing the Marvel narrative, the Watchers are an interesting element. And Adam Warlock.
The Watchers are totally Fantastic Four. Didn't like Uatu, like his comic debut was in a Fantastic Four comic, right?
Yes.
Marvel has the rights back to Fantastic Four, people.
We don't know that.
They have the rights back to Fantastic Four. Galactus is the villain after Thanos.
No, they might not. Here's the thing. Ego was part of the Fantastic Four package. They made a deal with Fox to get the rights to Ego, and part of that small deal may have included Uatu and the Watchers.
I totally forgot about that. And Negasonic Teenage Warhead was allowed to have a power change.
Yes.
I totally forgot about that. You're right. Damn it.
So everybody who's claiming that they secretly got the rights back, I think they're premature. I mean, it's possible that they might have, and
that
they're
sucks.
keeping
I hate
it a
this
secret.
movie now.
But what did you? That Stan Lee cameo was interesting. I remember I went to Comic-Con last year, Denver Comic-Con, and Stan Lee was there, and he was talking about how one of his upcoming movies has his favorite cameo of all time, and I think he was referencing this film.
It doesn't get better than this. I mean,
Yeah, I don't think you can actually like look too much into it and like make a claim that Stan Lee is actually a watcher in the Marvel universe.
That was always my sort of assumption, was that Stan Lee, him appearing in every film, he was a watcher. But I guess this kind of debunks that, which kind of makes me a little bit sad.
He's like a storyteller, and he's like just like relaying this information to the watchers.
Yeah, all the crazy stuff he's seen.
The watchers don't really seem to care.
No. Well, maybe they're like, maybe I'll go check out Earth now. Maybe.
What did you think of the music?
I didn't recognize any of it, honestly, or too many of the songs. But I felt like it was interesting how like they were a part of the movie,
of the narrative.
Like the characters could hear the music along with us. I guess there's a term for that. I forget what it is. Anyway,
I thought the big three music pieces, Mr. Blue Sky at the beginning by ELO. That's the song that Groot dances to.
Yeah,
that was it was such a great opening credit sequence.
It was really cool in 3D too.
Like, I was excited to see like the battle between the Guardians and the Obelisk creature.
Yeah.
That tentacle creature that came in that they were fighting. But
yeah, it was heavily marketed.
The fact that they kind of like that was sidelined to the background. If I think it just makes my metaphors there, but like basically Baby Groot is put front and center, and his whole dancing thing. I thought it was just absolutely fantastic. Not only the song choice, but what's happening on screen. Like it was just hilarious. He's dancing, and then like when Star-Lord first like crashed face first into the ground right next to him, I laughed my ass off. And when Groot ate the fly, like my wife and I, Melissa and I, we just got a puppy a couple of weeks ago, and I'm doing the exact same thing. I'm like, what do you have in your mouth? Get it out. And I have to like reach in there, pull it out, and I laughed my ass off because I was like, I just did that like literally hours ago before I saw this. Nice. He's like the group's puppy.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
For sure.
He was really adorable. More of a hindrance than anything else. Gamora was like, Groot, get out of here. You're going to get hurt. And he's waving, and she's like, hi. Just adorable.
Yeah.
I really liked Baby Groot in this. I thought maybe he might become too, I don't know, cheap, I guess. A little like, it's like too easy of a... It's too easy to find him endearing, I guess, because he's so cute. But he does have a slight mean streak to him. Like, that's funny. Like, he's not, like, this purely innocent character.
Yeah.
I love
bringing
how...
back the toe. I was like, what?
Like, he chopped some dude's toe off or something. Like, do you have, like, a box, like, a refrigerated box of toes that you just keep lying around?
No.
Let's not talk about this. That's hilarious. And, like, his relationship with Drax always made me laugh. Like, he just, like, hates Drax. Like, he keeps, like, punching and kicking him.
Trying to attack him, yeah. Feisty little guy.
Hey, get out of the way. Or, hey, smaller, dumber Groot, get out of the way. And he's like, hey. He starts punching him. It's pretty good.
Diegetic sound. That's what I was thinking of. Diegesis is like anything that happens like in the story. Because normally like a film score, like the characters don't hear that. It's just for the audience.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So a lot of the music in this was diegetic. That's what I was thinking of.
The other good song I think that was used well was The Chain by Fleetwood Mac. That was when... Ego, he was inside the planet and he had his tentacles and everything like that, and he was using Peter as the battery. That's when Peter started to fight back, and he started like building, like moving the rock and stuff like that. I think that song was played very well right there. And I actually went and looked up the lyrics and everything like that, and they were pretty fitting.
Nice.
It was like, if you don't love me now, you'll never love me again. And so it was a fitting song for this father and son who kind of found each other and
at odds
and have to destroy each other, kind of.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the last song, Father and Son, it was an emotional song for, like, an emotional moment. It's so weird that the very end shot of this film, or the main narrative before the after-credit sequences, is Rocket. Of Rocket Raccoon crying, you know? But I think that was more emotional than Yondu's actual death. I think the most emotional I got during this film, actually, was when Kraglin, his... The Ravager that was loyal to him.
Yeah.
Sean Gunn's brother. Or no, his name is Sean Gunn.
James Gunn's brother.
James Gunn's brother. But when like he did the Ravager salute kind of thing, he's like, yeah. I mean, like
he was happy that he got a funeral.
It was played for laughs, but it felt real, you know?
Yeah.
Like he felt excited and he got teary-eyed and everything like that. And I felt proud for him. I felt proud that he was proud, you know?
That's true, yeah.
That was probably the most emotional moment.
I agree.
And man, those fireworks looked fantastic in 3D.
Cool. Those are really cool.
Like when the Yondu was turning into sparks.
I want it to be burned in a pyre of rainbow fire and then sent off into space amidst space fireworks. I don't know.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Okay, so actually, what did you think of the original Guardians team? Did you know that Starhawk?
Yeah, I didn't.
Martinix and all those guys.
I didn't know who any of them were. I mean, when I saw Guardians of the Galaxy, I didn't know who any of those characters were either. This went way over my head.
The original Guardians of the Galaxy team, that team was formed in the year 3000. It's like a different Marvel universe. It's an alternate timeline, and but a lot of those guys have shown up in the regular Marvel universe. But it seems like the film had a good idea to set up the heads of all different Ravager factions
as the
original Guardians. And Yondu even said, me and my friends, we were not unlike you and your team now back in the day. So that was a cool call out.
Yeah, each one is a different head of a Ravager faction, but there's they said there was 100 of them, so there was a ton of them.
Yeah, it was weird to see Michelle Yeoh. I didn't know she was gonna be in this film. There were a lot of surprises. I'm so glad that I stayed away from spoilers.
Oh yeah, I mean even when I saw Stallone, people in the theater were like, "What?"
It's Tango or Cash or whatever which one he
Cash,
was.
I think.
Yeah, I guess Sharon Stone was supposed to be in this movie too, but I didn't see her.
I thought she was in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
No, Sylvester Stallone, not Sharon Stone. Yeah, Sharon Stone. Sylvester Stallone and Sharon Stone were supposed to be in this film as characters. I'm wondering if she was that one red character who did the thumbs up thing.
Oh, no. You wouldn't do that to Sharon Stone.
Would you? I don't know.
I thought she was Janet Van Dyne.
No, that was speculation on my behalf on actresses who could play Janet Van Dyne.
Okay. Well, yeah, I remember Michael Rosenbaum was in this film too, but I didn't see him anywhere.
Yeah, he played Martinix, the crystalline-looking character.
Martinix?
Martinix. He's one of the original Guardians, along with Yondu.
Michael Rosenbaum is an original. All right.
Yeah. Another surprise that I found while watching the movie was that the Sovereign were not the primary antagonists.
Yeah, I had for a while there, in the middle of the film, I was like, who's the villain here? I knew it was going to be Ego, but they hadn't revealed that yet. And then, the Sovereign, weren't, on screen for a while.
Yeah, they only had two sequences, and one was that beginning chase through the quantum asteroid field, and then later on when they're trying to destroy Ego, they're just kind of in the way.
Yeah. That asteroid field thing, that was literal Deus Ex Machina again. I didn't see that coming, and I was kind of disappointed when it happened.
Oh, when Ego destroyed all the Sovereign ships?
Yeah.
I think that was a great intro for the character, though, to see him surfing on his spaceship and waving and things like that. That was so wild.
Yeah.
Something out of I don't know, more of a Bowie music video or something than an actual movie. I
didn't see that as Kurt Russell. I was I couldn't tell. Maybe it was just the 3D and it was a little bit blurry or whatever. But
he was only 1 inch tall, right?
Yeah.
So, what did you think of the Sovereign in general?
I thought the lady who played Aisha, I forget her name, but she's a really good actress.
She was in The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Yeah, she was in The Man from U.N.C.L.E. and she was great in that film. She was perfect, I thought, in this. All the acting was fantastic. Yeah. I can't think of any bad acting.
The best new addition, I thought, was Mantis.
She was so great.
Wasn't she fantastic? She was fantastic. My favorite character relationship in this film, between there's Star-Lord and Ego, and there's the relationship between Gamora and Nebula and Rocket and Yondu. They had their moments together, But Drax and Mantis,
you are hideous to look upon.
He was like, I'm hideous? He was like, yes. He was like, well, that's a good thing, At least when someone loves you and you're ugly, they know they love you for you. Beautiful people don't know who to trust. And then she was like, well, I'm certainly grateful to be so ugly then.
She is just so cute. She was cuter than Baby Groot, I think. Because, Baby Groot was feisty, but, and he was made to, look like a, big-eyed and baby. But with her, it wasn't, baby proportions. She was just, naturally adorable.
Yeah,
just with her acting, and her when she got sad,
she was very meek and
you really saw it. I was like, oh.
Yeah, well, that scene in Ego's spaceship where she's explaining like what her antennae are for, which was a hilarious scene.
Yeah, yeah.
And she touches them and she explains what an empath is, and man, she's so good. But when she went to touch Gamora, and like Gamora was like, "Touch me, and it'll be the last thing you ever touch," or something like that, and like she got so sad. I'm like, "Hey,
Leave her alone.
leave her alone, leave her alone."
Yeah, she was fantastic.
And then she's like, "And I can put people to sleep, or I can put them to sleep." And then Jax is like, "Try the trick on me," and she touches him, and he like flies backwards. God, everything. Just that whole interaction was hilarious, and obviously the funniest line of the movie was,
"It's so beautiful." It is, and so are you. On the inside, I was cracking up.
I can't wait to see more Mantis.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, totally.
They really changed her character. I wonder. I mean, like obviously, like
from
she started off as like
a soldier,
like a regular skin color
oh.
in the comics, and then she later turned green. But obviously, they're not going to make her green in this movie because Gamora is green.
Right.
But in this movie, she's an alien, and in the comics, I think we've discussed her before. She was a Vietnamese kid who was raised by the priests of Pama, these Cree priests, and she was trained in martial arts. And she has telepathy, and she's a martial artist. She can control vegetation, and she can project an astral form.
She doesn't have empathic ability?
Yeah, I mean, her telepathic abilities can manifest in terms of manipulating emotions and stuff like that.
Huh.
But the fact that they made her an empath is interesting to me because it makes me think that we're not going to see Star Fox in any of these movies. Star Fox, as you may know, is
Thanos' brother.
Yeah, he played a big part in the Infinity Gauntlet storyline. He's Thanos' brother. He's a member of the race of the Eternals, and his primary ability is empathic powers, empathic abilities.
I never liked Star Fox, honestly.
I can see where he could be, he might not be necessary for the Marvel Cinematic Universe Infinity Gauntlet story, but I always liked that character.
Yeah, he's dumb. He's really dumb. His name is Eros, right?
Eros, yeah.
Yeah, he's dumb.
He's like the love god.
Yeah, he's like the god of love, and Thanos is like the god of,
hate.
Not love, hate. Death, yeah.
Yeah. So it's just interesting.
He's a celestial. No, he's not celestial. He's an eternal.
Yes.
That's right.
Speaking of celestials. So in the first movie, we see the location Nowhere.
And that's a celestial.
It's a celestial head. It's a planet. That's where the Collector lives and where they mine the celestials' brain matter and stuff like that to sell on the black market. So that they gave a very clear presentation of what a celestial looks like. Also, when the Collector was going through his spiel on what the Infinity Stones were, we saw a celestial wielding the Power Stone. I don't know if you remember in those little.
Yeah, they looked like straight out of the comics.
Yeah. Straight out of Jack Kirby's mind.
I was definitely confused when Ego said he was a celestial. I was like, that's not what I know a celestial to look like.
Right, correct. Traditionally, in the comics, Ego is not a celestial. He is created by the Stranger, just as this living planet, you know, as an experiment, basically. But the fact that they made him a celestial is so bizarre.
I think like they have like two different levels, like you have celestials, which are like these god level beings, and then right below that you probably have like the eternal level characters, which are characters like Thanos and the Collector and the Grandmaster. I think they're all kind of on the same level.
The Collector and the Grandmaster are not Eternals characters; they're elders of the universe.
Right. More like elders.
But Ego doesn't really fit into any of those camps, I'm kind of weirded out by the fact that they refer to him as a celestial. But
what is Epic? Epic is like another planet thing, right?
Yeah, he's none of those things either. He's not classifiable. He's the what is it called? The mentor to the protector of the universe, which is Quasar.
Okay.
Anyway, so here's the interesting thing about the Celestials. If you've ever read Earth X,
that's right.
You know that at the center of every planet is a celestial seed, basically, like celestial embryo. And the reason why the Celestials created life on planets is because they knew that life would protect the planet,
protect the egg,
and therefore protect the celestial at the center of the planet.
Yeah, planets are eggs.
And the Earth X revealed that Galactus does not just eat planets to get energy, but he consumes them to keep the celestial population in check.
Yeah.
So the fact that the brain or the heart or the brain of Ego, the Celestial, was at the heart of this planet, at the core, makes me think that they may be using that to set up Galactus.
That's what I was thinking exactly when I was watching the film. I thought, like him sort of like embedding like seeds into other planets, like sort of those embryos to make like other planets, like other, Celestials part of him. And then introducing the Watchers. Again, I thought as I was watching, I was like totally setting up Galactus. Totally.
Yes. Yeah, they're setting up we're hypothesizing that they're setting up that Galactus consumes planets to destroy these Celestials.
Fantastic Four is Phase 4.
That would be so fantastic.
Wouldn't it?
4. So yeah, that was interesting. Where are we in the story now? So meanwhile, while they're in Ego's ship and everything like that, we have the scene where Rocket and Baby Groot and Nebula are stranded on the Butthurt planet.
Butthurt.
I never said it out loud until right now, and it sounds a lot like Butthurt. Yeah. Butthurt. Yeah.
No, Rocket taking out that whole Ravager crew was pretty cool.
That was so bad. Like, I feel like I did him a disservice during our duel with Rocket Raccoon versus Chip
the
Squirrel.
They had jetpacks. He could fly.
Yeah.
Well, even in Adam Strange versus Star-Lord, like, you didn't give him a jetpack. Or
he had rocket boots. He had rocket boots.
Yeah, he had rocket boots. But in this, he was much more maneuverable than just jump boots.
Oh, in the rocket?
Yeah, with his rocket
with a jetpack?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. But I also feel like I should, like, when I saw... Rocket was so badass in this. When I saw him, those tiny bombs that he created, when I saw him, like, throw them on Ego's tentacles and then, like, activate his force field and set it off, I was like, the first thing I thought was, should have given Rocket a force field.
That would have been
in
a
the
huge, huge advantage.
It wouldn't have been
an advantage, but...
Let's be real. Rocket was still going up against Chip the Squirrel, who was Green Lantern, who is one of the most overpowered heroes in all of comic books.
Whatever.
So, he still wouldn't have had a chance, but Rocket Raccoon is more badass than what I portrayed him to be in that episode.
That force field was pretty cool.
Yeah. I love Rocket. I like how they kind of deconstructed him too. Like Yondu was saying, I know who you are. You're me. You push people away, and because your heart is empty, basically. And like at first, like at the beginning of this movie, like Rocket was just such a jerk. I mean, he was like funny and everything, but he was like calling him orphan boy and everything like that. And like Star-Lord's like, what is your deal, man? Do you want people to hate you? Like, he's just being a dickhead.
Yeah.
But he really redeems himself toward the end, I think.
He understands, like, that he doesn't need to push people away and that, he could still be loved even as an asshole or something.
Yeah.
What is the moral there? The moral of the story? I don't know. Something like that.
Well, he was like they still came to see him even though he was mean to them and he stole Arnie Lack's batteries and everything like that.
Yeah, he was like, of course.
That was a great moment between Peter and Rocket.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Chris
Pratt is just a good actor.
He has good range, man.
Yeah.
There was a part that I thought was interesting when... Okay, so this is after he learns that Ego is his father and that he can control the light and that he, he's immortal and everything like that. And he goes down and Ego basically tells him his plan. And he shows him eternity. Which
really bothered... Yeah, eternity. Yeah, right when he said eternity and you could see in his eyes, I was like, oh, is that like eternity? Are they setting up eternity?
It was a good little Easter egg thing like that. Like, it doesn't make sense for him to say that otherwise. Like, what I think is that, like... Ego tapped into his brain and basically he like showed him a picture of the universe kind of like pulled out so that he could see his plan of all the different planets that he was planning to to take over. Mm-hmm. And as he pulled out, I think Peter saw the form of eternity, which is why he said that.
I think so. That's what I thought as well. So many cool things.
Yeah, just like little Easter eggs. Like, you don't know how they'll pan out or even if they ever will. I don't know if eternity will ever make an appearance in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like, this might be it.
Yeah.
But if it is it, I think it's interesting that they called it out.
Yeah, Cosmic Marvel is I always appreciated it. I can appreciate it. It's pretty big and pretty cool. A lot of cool characters out there. I know this is probably jumping ahead, but just because we're on that part, it really bothered me when Ego told Peter that he killed his mother.
Yeah, it was
That
a little.
was really stupid.
It was not a smart thing to do.
I don't know, and he's like, billions of years old. You think he would be wise and smart enough to not do that? Like, why would you do that?
Like maybe he assumed that he had already reached through to him and convinced him that life is, not very valuable.
Except for him and celestial life.
Right. So, but I mean, that's kind of a stretch for him to assume that,
That really bothered me. It was just so unbelievably stupid. The whole movie would have been completely different if he wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
I
did like that line that he said when the Fleetwood Mac song was playing. He was like, "You shouldn't have killed my mother and smashed my Walkman." I liked that line.
I liked when Peter found out that like he was immortal and like he could create anything on that planet. He was like, "I'm gonna create some crazy shit.
I'm gonna create some weird shit."
Weird shit.
Pac-Man and Heather Locklear and what else?
Oh, the Pac-Man thing was fantastic.
I did not see that coming.
Me neither.
Like Eagle was creating like a giant rock version of himself, and like you see Star-Lord like putting these yellow rocks around him, but you don't even think about it, and then all of a sudden it's like what. That was great. I mean, it was a gag. Obviously, it had no bearing on anything, but it was worth it. I think all the resources that went into the special effects for creating a giant rock Pac-Man, it was worth it.
Yep.
Just I think that was a good metaphor for this whole movie. I think like it's so far removed from anything else Marvel, and it's so self-contained to possibly be deemed like an unnecessary installment.
Well, yeah, he loses his power at the end. Yeah. I mean, what?
But it was worth it because I just had so much fun with it, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what did you think of the whole Gamora Nebula fight thing?
Their whole relationship throughout the film I thought was fantastic. Just going back and like just hearing the story of how Thanos would cut pieces of Nebula off and replace them with machinery to make her better.
Yeah.
Was super heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And I really understood where Nebula was coming from. She wasn't as villainous in this one as she was in the first movie. And I mean, so I don't know. Sometimes I was like, why are you being so nice to Gamora? Like, she was way nicer to Gamora than she needed to be, or sometimes made sense for the character.
Well, she said like, I think she rationalized it with the line when she said,
"I wanted a sister."
Yeah, you're like, you wanted to win. I just wanted a sister. You were all I had. Yeah. So in the comics, in the Annihilation comics, back in the mid 2000s, there was a scene where he kidnaps Moondragon, who is Drax's daughter. He grabs her. He basically just shows up like an evil badass. But he's so evil. He grabbed her and he just rips her ear right off and gives it to the person that she was with. I forgot. It's been a while since I read the story, but I remember that scene. He rips her ear off and was like, "Give this to Drax and tell him come get me or whatever." And he teleports away.
Jeez.
And when Nebula was talking about how like Thanos would like rip her eye out or take her brain out of her skull or things, just all this crazy shit. I kept going back to that like disturbing moment from the Annihilation comics where he just like grabbed her ear and was like, pfft. He's an evil bastard.
Yeah.
And I don't fault Nebula for wanting to go kill him now. I bet you she will definitely play a part in the Infinity War storyline.
Yeah. Maybe
a bigger part than any of the other Guardians.
The thing that even about like the relationship between Nebula and Gamora though is like even though you learn this history between them, like I never once like despised Gamora, and I think it's just because Zoe Saldana is she plays the character so well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and at the end when she explains herself, like I was just a kid like you trying to survive one day at a time.
Yeah.
I thought that they were almost painting Nebula like in a more sympathetic light than Gamora. Like it turns out like Gamora's like this monster or something like that.
Uh-huh.
But
you never really get that impression.
No, you don't.
I think James Gunn does like a really he has a way, he knows how to either direct his actors or write his script to work that kind of magic,
or both. Yeah.
So you're still rooting for who you're supposed to be rooting for, and yet like even with Nebula, you never really hate Nebula. Like he knows how to work it.
Right.
So I guess we'll just skip ahead to the final battle where they're drilling into the core. Baby Groot. That's a great scene when he's instructing him how to use the bomb. The joke went on for way longer than I thought it would. The impression that
tape? Do you have tape? Did you ask Nebula if she has tape? Yeah.
Did you really? Well, she was standing right next to Yondu when I asked her. My favorite part of that was Drax. He was like, yeah, Drax. He's like, hey, Drax, do you have any tape? Yeah, Scotch tape will work. Well, if you don't have any tape, why'd you ask if Scotch tape would work? Yeah. It was a long joke, but I almost feel like the longer it went on, the funnier it got, at least to me. Yeah. Baby Groot obviously was hilarious, especially when he was like wondering which button to push at the end. You're like, come on.
I knew he was going to push the right one.
Well, obviously.
I also like the part where like the ship exploded and then like Michael Rooker is coming down like Mary Poppins. He's like, you look like Mary Poppins. Was he a badass or something like that?
Was he cool? He's like, yeah, he was cool. He's like, I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
Yeah. It's funny. I never really liked the character though. I don't know why.
Yondu?
Yeah.
Do you just not like Michael Rooker?
I don't see Michael Rooker as a good guy. That's terrible of me. He just played too many bad guys. Maybe I don't know. I mean,
I liked Yondu in this film a lot. Actually, I think his most powerful moment was the moment that he had with Sylvester Stallone, and you could see like the pain that he had from being cut out of the Ravager group.
But he did something wrong. I mean, he did wait.
Yeah. Well, he admitted
against the code.
He admitted it too. He was like, I was young and dumb and greedy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
He
had a really cool scene with when he was getting out of prison. That was super cool. With the arrow.
You know what it reminded me of when you see the arrow like flying through the whole ship, killing everybody? It reminded me of Kingdom Come with the Flash.
Oh.
How he was like everywhere. Like that arrow was just so damn fast. It was like omnipresent.
Everywhere.
Yeah. I liked Yondu a lot more in this film than I did in the last. And I didn't dislike him in the last movie, but his character-wise, he was built up pretty well in this film.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a huge emotional impact for me at least as much as everybody else when he died.
Yeah.
But there was an impact. Like it earned whatever you did feel out of that, I think.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Except for the whole daddy thing.
Yeah. You know, a joke fell really flat for me.
What?
And it may just be me. Was the whole taser face thing?
Yeah.
It just went on a little bit too long. It was funny at the beginning when you first heard it. You're like, what? Really? That's really that guy's name, Taserface? All right.
He's from the comics. He's like a cyborg in the comics.
Oh.
He looks way different.
But then, they kept rehashing that same joke. It's like, okay, we get it. It's not even bad.
No. I'll laugh when he said, until you're a priestess, that the man who causes downfall is Taserface. And then, she
starts cracking
she cracked up at him.
That was funny.
The Sovereign did have... I feel like they were best used as comedic relief because they're so uptight,
You suck, Jared, or whatever his name was.
Yeah. In moments like that, I feel like they were the best. And when she was walking in the snow when they were rolling out the carpet, and it got stuck in, just they're so petty, It's kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, as villains, they were not worth anything. I feel like they existed primarily just to set up Adam Warlock.
Yeah, I agree. Especially they couldn't. They had all those ships. They couldn't take out the obelisk with them, or not the obelisk.
The obelisk.
Obelisk. It's like you didn't. Why not just take it out yourselves? Why not just guard your own shit yourselves?
They had to stab through the cut underneath the monster's neck, so they had to pinpoint it and then slice down. I don't know. I don't know. That's a good point. I don't know.
The Adam Warlock Easter egg was really cool. I thought that was a really well designed cocoon. I thought.
Yeah, it looks way different than the cocoon that was in the collector's collection.
See, I don't even remember that.
It looks like how it did in the comics, Mm-hmm. And I think they were kind of teasing at Adam Warlock in that film, but this is a much better. I always disliked the idea that Adam Warlock was created by humans, by the Enclave on Earth, because he's just so powerful and enigmatic and everything like that. I like this concept.
He's the celestial messiah, isn't he?
No, he's not.
Who am I thinking of?
You're thinking of Mantis's son.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah. Who kind of reminded me of Teenage Groot. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, Yeah, he's like he's not the celestial messiah, but he is like this like supremely enigmatic, golden being.
Knows more about the Infinity Stones than like anyone.
Yes,
because he had the soul gem embedded in his forehead, right?
Yeah, for a while, and like he lived in the soul gem and everything like that. It just doesn't make sense for him to be created by humans, I think. So I like this origin for him more. It seems like they're setting him up to be a bad guy, which, I mean, Adam Warlock has a twin named Magus who is a evil bad guy. But Adam Warlock is not a bad guy.
No.
So
I thought they were setting up the the new Guardians to be bad guys because they're like, let's steal some shit. I don't know. Maybe they're gonna steal like the Infinity Gems for Thanos or something. I don't know.
Oh, I don't think they would do that. I think they're good guys.
Okay. I wasn't sure if they were bad guys or good guys.
They're good guys.
Let's steal some shit.
Well, they're like pirates. They're like they're protagonists.
Yeah, they're like pirates. Pirates aren't like necessarily good guys. They're probably more bad than good.
Well, okay, so they're like anti-heroes. Like they're good, but they are
not good.
Know. I'm trying to like all of a sudden I went to like doesn't Dungeons and Dragons, they have like a whole moral system base for it, like lawful good, chaotic good, kind of things like that. So they're like, I guess, chaotic
Nerd
good.
alert.
I never played Dungeons and Dragons, but I think I heard that somewhere. I think that's what they are. It's like chaotic good. So like they have some bad traits to them, but they're still good guys. They live by a code. They still have a moral code despite the fact that they're thieves.
Yeah, it made them sound like they weren't a super team. Like they were just a group of thieves. I don't know.
And maybe that's how they'll be.
Yeah.
You don't need 2 Guardians of the Galaxy teams in the universe.
Right.
So you never know. I just want to know what Adam Warlock is going to look like and what he's going to do. Is he going to be good? Is he going to be bad? Is he going to be in the Infinity War, or are they saving him for Guardians of the Galaxy 3?
Right. I'm sure he's going to, he's going to look like the damn it, what is their name?
Sovereign?
Yes. Damn it. He's going to look like the Sovereign, gold skin. I thought it was a really good makeup job.
It was really, it was like better than Goldfinger.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
You know what thing I'm really glad about is from the marketing when Mantis gets crushed by the debris or whatever. She didn't actually die. And it was like a smaller piece of debris that hit her.
Yeah, it was smaller.
It was like something that just went across her face as opposed to like...
It just like knocked her in the head.
Yeah.
As opposed to like crushing her whole body.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good. Because, again, I really liked Mantis. More random thoughts. I guess that takes us to the end of the movie. What did you think of the end sequences, I guess? There was the arrow scene with Kraglin.
Yeah.
That was funny. There was the Guardians, the original Guardian scene. Apparently Miley Cyrus did the voice of that like little robot head that was on the chair.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that head.
They definitely got to be planning something with the future of those actors because they're too big. Like Ving Rhames, I don't know if Ving Rhames is going to be in this either.
Yeah. And James Gunn has said like they play major roles in the not just like the Guardians of the Galaxy, but the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I think they're going to be an Infinity Gauntlet. That's why I was thinking like they probably steal the Infinity Stones or something like that.
Maybe they steal them back.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think they'll do something more altruistic than work for Thanos.
And then you had the Watchers, that scene.
Yeah, that was the last one.
Then, and what else?
And then Adam Warlock.
Yeah.
And Teenage Groot. Did I already say that?
Yeah.
Teenage Groot was hilarious. It's cool to see that like they can actually kind of understand what he's saying now.
Yeah, I noticed that he was able to understand him. I was I thought Rocket was the only one who spoke Groot.
Yeah. For the whole theme of the movie kind of being fatherhood.
Yeah.
It was cool to see Peter like take on that like uptight father kind of role.
Yeah.
Where he's like, I'm not boring. You like wasting your mind away on that screen is boring. Like me tripping all over these vines is boring. He's like, I'm not boring. He's like, I'm Groot. That was funny. You know what relationship I don't think quite worked in this film? Out of like, this is a film of relationships and character development, but the one that I think did not work was the Star-Lord Gamora relationship. Like even from the very beginning when he was flirting with the High Priestess with Ayesha, I almost feel like their relationship works better as him being like this player and her like resenting him or like, rolling her eyes at him and not putting up with that than what they had in this film. Like, I did not like them coming together. Basically, I don't think they had much chemistry. I don't think it quite worked for me personally.
And it really didn't though, because like she never admitted to like an unspoken thing.
Well, at the end, she grabbed his hand and he's like, "What is it?" And she's like, "Oh,
Well, yeah, it was at the very end though. I mean, I don't that didn't bother me at all. In fact, one of the better lines I thought was, when he was like, I finally found, a family, and she was, or something along those lines.
I like them more as like a brother-sister dynamic where he's more endearing to me as like not this guy who's just trying to go after this one girl and like marry her for the rest of his life, but like I liked his character. He lost a little bit of something when you take away that playboy part of him, I think. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know if that's a good thing, but
obviously it's not good to be a playboy. But I mean like
I think that says something more about like society than...
Look at Tony Stark. Like,
yeah,
he was pretty cool and hilarious. Like it adds an element of humor the way he was like with the airline stewardesses and everything like that, And then he kind of lost all that at the end of Iron Man 2 when he hooked up with Pepper. And it was like something that really didn't pan out. Like we haven't seen her much since Iron Man 3 because it's just it's not cool to seem like a family man. You want to seem like as like a, I don't know, swinging adventurer kind of. Does that make sense? Am I an ass? I feel like what I'm saying is it's making me look like an ass.
It might make more sense for Peter Quill to be that way than Iron Man. I guess I understand where you're coming from, and it makes sense in a way. I also think that it's kind of asshole-ish in a way.
Yeah, it is.
But
I just think the character was more endearing to me in the first film. I kind of got annoyed with him in this. I'm like with all the Cheers references and him just like trying to go after Gamora and stuff like that, and she's not interested. And I don't know that just the whole thing just didn't work for me, honestly. But I might be wrong. Other people might feel different. So, let's wrap up with what you thought about Ego's plan in general. From the very beginning, like his whole thing from when he started out and sought out life, found it disappointing.
That was interesting. I think that was he's like this god character who's disappointed with other life. He has a huge ego. He's very appropriately named.
Aptly named.
I think his plan was great. I think he was a great villain. I'm sad that it's another Marvel villain that has to die. I kind of I want to see some of them live on so that they serve a bigger purpose than just one film.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought he was a good villain.
I thought Kurt Russell's portrayal was pretty good.
Yeah.
Like there were some moments, like especially when he was pleading with Star-Lord not to kill him. Like, if you destroy me, you'll be like everybody else. He was like, what's wrong with that? And he was like, no. Like he looked desperate. Kurt Russell's a fantastic actor, man. He's a classic.
Yeah. I didn't realize, it was Tango and Cash. They were both in this film until you said that.
They didn't have any scenes together, though.
No. But maybe at the premiere, Tango, Cash. Yeah. I wish, if only. No, I like the whole... I think it was a good story. It was a good, in terms of, like, the villain's plot and them, like... there were stakes to it, I felt like when they went to different like planets and you could saw like different people being affected by it. I still don't understand why he needed Peter for his plan.
Because in order to activate those seeds, he didn't have enough power on his own.
Yeah, that was weak. That's weak sauce. That's dumb.
That is kind of like, it's kind of just like a random element to just throw in the story.
Exactly.
Like, there's not...
Exactly.
Oh, it's like, you just got to accept this fact just because it's written to the script. Right. So... But it, everything hinges on that kind of like arbitrary kind of fact.
Weird, yeah. It's one of those things that you need to set up within the first 10 minutes of the film. Otherwise, they're going to be like, what? Why?
Yeah.
Why? Explain why. They never did, I guess. They sort of, I don't know.
I think that Star-Lord being able to control the light or whatever and having those powers was a great kind of reference to the fact that the character started out with superpowers. Like Star-Lord in his inception was able to fly and was super strong and everything like that and fast.
Yeah.
So I thought it was cool how he had powers for that short amount of time. It was a nice little reference.
Yeah, and the end battle was kind of cool too. I mean, when you have characters who can kind of do anything or create anything, I'm sure that would have been hard to kind of write. Yeah. But I think it was well done.
Yeah. Did you notice that the way they finally got rid of the Sovereign with those laser balls, it was almost, they destroyed the Sovereign almost the exact same way Iron Man destroyed the drones in Iron Man 2. It was very similar.
Stark Tech.
Yeah. So this has been kind of like a random thought kind of review. It's not quite as structured as our previous reviews, but
I think we touched on everything.
I think we touched on mostly everything. In all, again, I've seen it twice. I'd go see it again. I don't think it's quite as successful as the first one, and a lot of people are saying it's not as fresh and everything, and it's like, obviously it can't be.
Yeah.
It can't be. It can never be. But I think it holds up alongside that one. Just falls just slightly short as in terms of plot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, there's just a few things within the plot that just really bothered me. Like, why would you tell your son that you killed his mother? Dumb. Really dumb.
Yeah. So I gave the first Guardians of the Galaxy 4.5 stars. I thought it was pretty damn good. If like 5 stars is perfect or transcendent, and 4.5 stars is great, like really great, I'm gonna give this one 4 stars, which I consider like really good. I think Guardians of the Galaxy 1 was great. I think this one was good. I put it along the same level of quality as Doctor Strange and Ant-Man, which I also gave 4 stars.
See, for me, the original Guardians of the Galaxy is like my favorite Marvel film. It was, just something so new and fun that, didn't really need to tie into as many other things as like the Avengers films or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, it's been so long since I saw that one. I don't think I walked out of the theater this time as like exuberant as when I walked out of the first one, but I still really liked this film.
Yeah, you didn't walk out disappointed at all.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
This was a fantastic sequel. It did everything a sequel needs to do.
Yeah.
And usually I feel like I didn't go in with like the highest hopes because like I didn't like Iron Man 2. I didn't really, think that Thor: The Dark World was as good as it should have been. For me, like the second film in Marvel's films are like sort of, well, with the exception of like Captain America, or like the not as good.
Like Age of Ultron.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. There's definitely like a hurdle that they have to overcome in the second one. I think this one did it. I think this was a fantastic film.
Yep.
So I agree. I give it 4 stars.
4 stars?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, guys, if you've seen the film, you should have if you listened to this.
Oh, no, if you didn't.
Write into us on Twitter. Search for Dynamic Duel Podcast on Twitter, or you can reach out to us on Instagram or SoundCloud.
And we're on Pinterest now, actually, as well. So if that's your thing, we're there. I don't know if it is. It might be. If it is, we're there.
Yeah, reach out to us. Let us know what you thought of the film. We are also thinking about maybe creating a Facebook page here.
Yeah,
as well.
That might be up before our next episode. Yeah.
So if you're on Facebook, which you should be, you should.
You shouldn't be.
You shouldn't.
It's horrible. Twitter's so much better than Instagram.
Is it?
Twitter's way and Instagram are way better than Facebook. I hate Facebook. I don't care about people.
Jeez, man.
I don't care what people post, honestly.
Well, it's the biggest social network, so chances are you're probably on it if you are.
I go on Facebook to look at college humor videos.
If you're on Facebook, go ahead and search for Dynamic Duel Podcast, see if you can find us. Probably wait until the middle of this week.
Yeah.
Because we may...
Or next weekend.
Procrastinate on getting up that page. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it for this episode. In 2 weeks, we will be back, and we will be doing a duel episode. We're going to be pitting Thor versus Wonder Woman.
This is a big one. This is the biggest one we've ever done.
I mean, in terms of like A-list characters.
In terms of A-list characters, in terms of like just statistics, and like a lot
Power
of them are
levels.
going to be like really like maxed out. Not maxed out, but like they're some of the highest we've ever done.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a big deal. So make sure you
if you're interested,
check that out.
Yeah, if you're
tell
interested
your friends.
at all in who would win in a fight between Thor and Wonder Woman, listen to that episode. And
I'm looking forward to
get
it.
hyped up. Get hyped up now.
Like,
Hype train starts now.
Like,
We're selling tickets.
This is why I started this podcast or with Joseph was to do this battle. Well, this is one of the battles.
Yeah.
So, yeah, can't wait.
Yep. All right, guys. Oh, you know what we didn't do? We didn't do the hint.
Do the hint.
Okay, real quick. The hint for the trivia question. Again, the trivia question was: there are 3 film composers who are tied for scoring the most Marvel and DC superhero movies. Name those composers. The hint is, to clarify, these individuals were specifically credited as the film's composers. So no, like, score producer credits or anything like that. Film composers. Music by these people. So there's 3 of them that have done the highest number of movies. Superhero, Marvel and DC superhero films. Name them. And, write into us. And we'll talk to you in 2 weeks.
Yep. So up and away.
True believers.